Okay, boys and girls, in this bend we've been working on trying to strengthen our body paragraphs. We've talked about providing angled mini stories to support our main ideas. We've also talked about focusing on characters' response to challenges when we're reading in order to help us to refine our thesis statements about theme, and in order to also point us in the right direction for choosing the details that we want to use to support our main idea. Remember, your goal as the essayist is to provide details that are going to make your main idea very clear to your reader. You're going to want to try to provide enough details and very specific details that align to that main idea in order for your reader to be convinced. So if you're persuading, all right, so that they can understand. If you're explaining, okay, the idea is for you to explain it so well that by the time you get to that body paragraph, your reader is shaking their head because they know exactly what you're talking about. Today we're going to focus on choosing a quote, making sure that quote goes with our main idea, and how do we place it in the body paragraph. Okay, on our chart, which you have glued into your writer's notebook, it's called Tips for Quoting a Text. Okay, you have 3 main ideas on your planning sheet, and those main ideas are the ones you need to focus on. You need to look at them and ask yourself, what would be the best way for me to support this main idea? So you're looking for the main ideas that are going to best benefit being supported with a quote. Then you're going to reread your text. You're going to reread your transcript of the video. And you're going to look specifically with that lens. Remember, we've talked about lenses. Put those glasses on. And you're looking specifically for the details that are going to go with your main idea. So if you are writing and your main idea is that the Panier Football Club has a positive attitude, you're going to put those positive attitude glasses on. You're going to reread that transcript, and you're going to look for every single spot in that transcript where they had a positive attitude. Okay? Now, once you have all those quotes, all those places in the transcript, all those parts in the story, then you're going to rank them. Which ones are the strongest? Which ones are clear? So you're going to put them in an order, because you're going to want to choose the top 3, the 3 strongest quotes. You're not going to want to choose a quote that's too weak, waste your space in your body paragraph by quoting that and not really having anything more to say. So you want to choose your top 3, because remember, you need to have 3 bullets for each of your boxes, and you're going to need to focus on the details. Gabriel, I'm going to ask you to stop writing, and I'm going to ask you to pay attention to what we're doing here so that you know what we're doing. Do you understand? Thank you. All right, so once we've chosen our quotes, we're going to be looking in our body paragraph or composing our body paragraph, and we're going to need to know the steps for putting those in there. You need to introduce the quote in your essay, and there are a variety of ways that you can introduce your evidence. And if we look at our transitional words and phrases chart that we have right here, you can see that we can begin, because we want to always provide our reader with a transition. Remember that they know, oh, here is a piece of evidence. So if we say, for example, for instance, another example, then those are ways in which we're introducing the evidence. Now, if you look down here closer to the bottom, you can see these last 2 as shown in, and you can say exactly where. So if your text set has paragraph numbers, you can use a paragraph number. If you're, in our case, quoting from the video, you can talk about where in the video. Was it the beginning of the video, the middle of the video, the end? Or you can refer to the scene itself. Okay? You're going to want to introduce it. Put your hand down and I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, and so you want to make sure that you're citing specifically. In some cases, you're going to be giving the title and the author. Now, this video doesn't have an author per se, but it does have filmmakers who created it, and producers, so you could use either one of those terms, okay? You're going to want to make sure, if you look down here, it says tell who and from what text you are quoting and what the character is trying to do. Then you can add the exact words. Now, you don't want to quote really long pieces of text. So last year, if you were here at Jets Creek, we learned a variety of ways that you could choose your quotes. You can just take some phrases. You can take a whole sentence but use an ellipse, that's a dot, 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 to indicate where you've left out words, okay? Or you can summarize. All right, there's a variety of different ways, but you want to make sure that you are including the proper quotes and not loading up your body paragraph with long pieces of quotes. All right, let's look at an example. Let's look back at our mentor text that we've been using for this unit. And let's look at the body paragraph, the first body paragraph where it says to begin. Okay, what I'd like you to do is I would like you to, keeping in mind what we talked about, you have your chart there in front of you in your notebook. What I want you to do is with your shoulder partner, I want you to go ahead and read this body paragraph in your head and notice where the author of this body paragraph has applied this strategy. All right, go ahead and turn and talk. Who's behind you? And the three of you have to be together. But Jamie doesn't have a partner, so she's going to join you. Gabriel, you're not looking at your body paragraph, you're looking at the body paragraph that's up on the screen, okay? And that's what you're discussing with your partners. What did the author do to introduce the quotes? And Jamie, you will need to move up there so you can work.
I will be your missing eye, and you will be my wings. And then it also says, in Junkyard Wonders, Miss Peters and States.
Okay, so what are some of the things on the chart that you have that you can see in this body paragraph? Can you say it?
Tell who, when, and from what text you are quoting, and what the character is trying to do, and add the exact word.
Okay. All right, so let's stop for a second. And Ryan and Connor, we're looking at it. Could you say that again out loud for us, Ryan? Mm-hmm. What were you looking? You were looking specifically right here. In Fox, Maggie proclaims, open the quotes, I will be your missing eye and you will be my wings, close the quotes. So what on your chart are you noticing that the author did here?
When I read that, it reminded me of on the piece of paper, tell who and from what text you are quoting and what the character is trying to do, and add the exact word.
Okay, so that's this bullet down here. Tell who and from what text you are quoting and what the character is trying to do. Then add the exact words. Okay, so we definitely have. It says Fox and it says Magpie proclaims, and then we have the quotes. Okay, Malachi, go ahead and share something that you and Sebastian talked about.
We were talking about how on the piece of paper,
The chart.
the chart, how he introduced the main idea early, and the quotes like
So can you read specifically from the text what you noticed and how it refers to the chart? No, you can't. Matthew?
Like the beginning of, the first body paragraph, I saw the quotes, everyone seems really different in one way or another.
Okay, so how does that, what on your chart do you see in that mentor text? What do you see? What on your chart, remember those were the instructions when you turn and talk to your partner. You were supposed to read this body paragraph and you were supposed to identify what on the chart you could see. Did you hear when Ryan shared? Okay, that's what you're doing. You're looking at this body paragraph and you're identifying the things on the chart that the author of this mentor text did, because this is an example of how you're supposed to quote in your body paragraph. Okay? If you don't practice it with your partner, you're not going to be able to do it when you return to your seat. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so if you miss the instructions, if you miss the activity and you don't do it, give me that, please. Then you miss the opportunity for practicing it, so when you go back to your seat, you can't put it in your own work. And that's, Matthew, when you sit at your desk and you feel frustrated and you can't do what you're supposed to be doing, that's part of the reason why that happens. So you need to be practicing. The same with you, Gabriel. You again went back to your notebook and you're working on your body paragraph instead of this. Did you? Okay, so you have something to share then? So what did you and your partners notice in this mentor text that you saw in your chart?
Because it says that the character learns.
Okay, the problem I'm having right now is that's not the chart we glued into our writer's notebook. That's not the chart we're all looking at. That's the one right there.
Okay, so I found out that.
Give me an example from this body paragraph, from the mentor text. Pull a sentence from the mentor text, please.
To begin, the characters.
Okay, we're focusing on quotes. We're not focusing on that. Give me a sentence from there that you were able to connect to the chart.
What some see as bent and broken throwaways are actually amazing things waiting to be made into something.
Okay, problem I'm having is you're reading the first sentence in the introduction, and we're working on the body paragraph. Okay, can you see why I mentioned to you that you were also not doing what you were supposed to do when we did the turn and talk? Okay, if you don't do the activity in the turn and talk, then when you go back to your seat to try to do it independently, you can't, because you haven't practiced it with help from friends, and you haven't talked about it with the teacher and shared. So we have to make sure, number one, that we understand what we're supposed to be doing, and number two is that we do it and not get sidetracked with something else. So let's try it again, okay? Everybody listening? What you are doing right now is you are reading this body paragraph from our mentor text, and you are looking for things that the author did here when they were quoting that you can connect to something that's on your chart in your notebook. All right, so let's try again. Go ahead and turn and talk. One of you needs to read this out loud and stop when you get to a sentence that you notice something from your chart.
In Junkyard Wonders, Miss Peterson states. It says Patricia.
So when it says I will be say hi and you will remain, it's
something out that you can share?
In paragraph, in the first body paragraph, I think it's so it's like giving a little summary. A little summary from the and I actually doesn't go word from word, but she just gives a little summary about it. No, that means that all the paragraphs by everyone.
Someone with like a disability or
Okay, I think the conversations I heard were certainly much better than the first attempt. So let's share some of the things. Malachi, you want to try again?
Yeah. When it says I will be your missing eye and you will be my wings, it was right there. It was explaining what the characters did, and it was explaining why they did it.
Okay. Which can you read the bullet off of the chart that you have there that goes with this?
Tell who and from what text you are quoting and what the character is trying to do.
Okay, so in Fox, Fox is the title of the text. Magpie is the character, and she's speaking, and she says, "I will be your missing eye, and you will be my wings." Okay, does everybody see that? Those were direct quotes from the text. I'm going to ask you guys to move away from the table because every time you bump the table, you're making this go blurry. Thank you. All right. Gianna, do you and Matthew and Jamie have another one that you can share? Say it again. That was the one. Did you have a different one, Matthew?
yes. That is if everyone seemed really different in one way or another. That some people have disabilities or have diseases.
What on your chart goes with that quote?
Tell you and from what text you're quoting and what the character's trying to do at the exact words.
Okay, so it doesn't really. It just says the author, Patricia Polacco, writes. So that's really not the part of the chart because it doesn't tell you what book it comes from except in the previous sentence. So this sentence right here doesn't really do that. Can anybody help Matthew out? What on the chart goes with that sentence? What on the chart goes with that sentence? Connor?
Cite the text specifically.
Cite the text specifically. And when you're pulling the words right from it, notice, open the quotes and close the quotes. Okay? Anybody else have a different one that they want to share? Ryan?
In the whole first body paragraph, Patricia or the person who wrote that, they did a little summary of the junkyard wonders.
Okay, can you read me the words from the first sentence where the summary starts?
To begin,
That's our transitional phrase and main idea statement. That's not a summary.
In the Junkyard Wonders, the characters are a group of children in class for students with special needs.
Absolutely. So when we talk about the quotes and we talk about our chart, it says to introduce the quote into your essay by giving a little summary of the text to set up the quote. Okay? Giving a summary of the text to set up the quote. And that's exactly what Ryan just pulled in from there. In the Junkyard Wonders, the characters are a group of children in a class for students with special needs. Okay, so hopefully we've practiced enough that you can do this independently. Now guys, before we go to our work time, I want to take a few minutes to talk about CHAMPS. Okay? We have this CHAMPS, and some of you might be new to it. I noticed that some of you are struggling with what you're supposed to be doing during our work period, and so I want to draw your attention to it, okay? The C stands for conversation. What do you think the conversation should be during our work period? Matthew? Okay, and you're only talking with an adult, which means that you're not whispering to your desk partner, you're not making a signal across the room. Okay, what about help? How are you going to ask for help during the work period, Ryan?
You raise your hand.
Okay, now, if I'm conferencing with somebody, I can't help you. So you're going to have to help yourself the best you can, okay? But you can use the hand signals to get my attention or to ask for going to the bathroom. We do not get up and get a drink of water or have any unnecessary movement during our work period. If you need a tissue, you can get a tissue. If you need to go to the bathroom, you can give me the signal and I can let you know whether you can go to the bathroom. But we're not getting up to get water. So don't waste your time giving me the water signal because I won't do it. What's our activity today? Okay.
Oh, we are finding out which one of what we're trying to put what's in this tips for coding and text in our body paragraph.
Okay. So we're going to be revising our body paragraphs based on what we learned today about choosing appropriate quotes and placing them in there appropriately, using our chart to guide us. Okay, what about movement in the room? What about movement in the room, Gianna? Right. Only necessary movement. So if I call you back for a conference, you're walking back to me. If you need to go to the bathroom, you can get to the bathroom. But no unnecessary movement. We're not getting up to dump our pencil case into the basket. We're not getting up to put a success ticket into the bucket. Only necessary movement. Okay, what about participation? What about participation? Gianna? 100%, which means when I'm looking at you, you are referencing your green packet, you are looking at your charts, and you are writing and working, okay? I should not see you staring around the room because no matter where you are, you cannot get better if you're not picking up your pencil and doing your writing. Okay, does everybody understand the champs? Okay. Please go ahead and make your way back to your seats.